Hello, welcome to this English lesson about getting ready for winter. If you live in a country that experiences winter, there are lots of things you need to do in order to get ready for winter. And in this lesson, I will talk about most of them. If you don't need to get ready for winter, you should still watch this lesson. Many of these things
can also be used to talk about
getting ready for
other
other things.
Maybe if you switch one word, it will mean
it means
getting ready for summer. For instance, one example, you sometimes put extra blankets on the bed. Get ready for winter. You might have a colder season where you are, where you put an extra blanket on the bed. So even though the lesson is about getting ready for winter, it is a multi-use lesson. You will learn many useful phrases in this English lesson. So once again, welcome to this English lesson
about getting ready for winter.
Get out the winter coat. So in Canada and in other cold countries, we often put away our warm winter coats in the spring. So when spring arrives and when I don't need my winter coat, we actually put it in the basement. Sometimes in a box, or sometimes we hang it in the closet. But then when cold weather comes, you need to get out the winter coat or get out your winter coat. You can see this person here is nice and cozy and warm wearing winter coat. So what this means for me is I go to the basement, I find my winter coat. You can see me wearing it right here, and I start to wear my winter coat. But first I have to find it and get it out. Another thing I do is I put on the snow tires. We also call these winter tires. I'm not sure if all of you are aware, but there are different kinds of tires that we use in the winter in colder countries. The rubber is a little softer. So in really cold weather, the tires grip the road really well. So it's just handy to have when it gets super cold out. It's nice to be able to stay on the road instead of sliding off the road. So when there's a bit of snow on the road, or when there's a bit of ice on the road, it's nice to have your snow tires on, or what we also call winter tires. And then you might want to stop drafts. There's two ways to spell this word. This is the long, complicated way. You can also spell it D-R-A-F-T, draft. But this is the word draft. That means air that blows under the door or from around your window. If your windows and doors aren't sealed nicely, you might have drafts. And this is something called a draft dog. Some people have these types of things to lay along the bottom of the door to stop wind from blowing in. There are many other things you can do to stop a draft. You can put stuff on the door itself to stop a draft, but this is something people do. They stop drafts. Put an extra blanket on the bed. Jen and I actually did this a few weeks ago already. When the nights start to get colder, your house starts to get a bit colder. In fact, most people in cold countries have their house go a little colder at night than it probably goes in the summer. At least we do. And so we put an extra blanket on the bed. This sometimes is called a duvet. Sometimes in my part of Canada we call it a comforter. It has many names. Some people might call it a quilt. But there are lots of thick, warm types of blankets. And you will probably put one of those on your bed so that you stay warm at night. Last night in particular was quite cold, so it was nice. It's nice to have an extra blanket on the bed. You're also going to get out your gloves. You're going to get out your winter hat, or what I call a toque. You're going to want to cover up. So I would not go outside with my hands uncovered right now. I would not go outside with my head uncovered. It's way too cold for that. So you're going to get out your gloves. You're going to get out your winter hat. We keep all of these in a box in the spring, summer, and fall, and then we pull out the box, and then you hope that you can find a matching pair. Here's something that some people think is controversial and bad for the planet, but you start to warm up your car in the morning. I usually start my car about 5 minutes before I leave. Some people say you don't need to do this, but I like to warm up the car so that I can clean the windshield and the side windows better. So you sometimes need to warm up the car in order to be able to drive safely. So sometimes I get up early so that I can warm up the car for about 3 or 4 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes, so that when I get in, it's warm, but also so that the ice and snow has melted off the windows. And then you need to put the ice scraper and snow brush in the car. If you are not familiar with these two tools, this is one that has a scraper at one end and a snow brush at the other. So this is what you use to clean off your car windows in the morning. So when you get up on a winter morning, you need to get up earlier because you probably want to start your car and let it run for a few minutes, and you're going to need to clean the windows. So normally we do not have an ice scraper or a snow brush in our car in the spring, summer, and fall. So in the fall, late fall, we put the ice scraper and snow brush in the car, just so that you can clean the windows. It's important to be able to see when you drive. So this is something I don't have a snowblower like this. I have one that goes on the tractor. But a snowblower is a machine that you only use in the winter. So when you are getting ready for winter, it's important to check the oil, fill the snowblower with gas, and start it up. You don't want to start your snowblower for the first time during the first snowstorm. You want to be ready for the first snowstorm. So if you start the snowblower, when it's a nice warm day in the late fall, then you are ready for winter. So you should definitely start the snowblower at least once. Make sure everything works properly, and do this before you get a large snowfall. You should find the shovel. There are things called snow shovels. They're designed especially for shoveling snow. You should probably find the snow shovel if you are getting ready for winter. Sometimes our snow shovel gets used other places on our property, and then it's not in the right spot. So you might need to find the snow shovel so that when it snows, you can shovel the snow. And then put warm clothes in your car. So if you live in a country like Canada, or one of the countries that experiences cold winter, you should always have gloves, winter hats, maybe a blanket, maybe an old winter coat. You should have these things in your car all the time, so that if you go in the ditch or if your car breaks down, you can stay warm. When I go to work, I wear gloves, a winter hat, and a winter coat. But I don't always dress warm enough to be outside for a long period of time. I'm warm enough to be outside for 10 or 15 minutes or more. But if my car broke down, I would probably put on another winter coat over top of my winter coat, and maybe warmer gloves. So it's important to put warm clothes in your car so that you're ready in case your car breaks down in the winter, or if you need your car breaks down, or if you go in the ditch. That happens. Sometimes you slide off the road. You should get the furnace serviced. So a furnace is an appliance that keeps your house. You should make sure that it's working properly. It is very important that the house stays warm in the winter. So you will call someone to come and service your furnace, not necessarily every year, but maybe every 2 years or every 5 years. You will have a professional person come to service your furnace. check the windows. So an interesting thing happens. Sometimes around your windows, there's something called caulking, and it can fall out. And then you will find out there's a draft by that window. So usually about once a year or every other year, we go around and we check the windows to see if there are any spots where air can blow in. And then you can find different things. You can buy different things to put around the window to stop it. Half of our windows are. Sorry, I'm trying to think about how to say this. Most of our windows are fairly new, so we don't have this problem. But when our windows were older, before we had them replaced, we often did this. We would check and then kind of make sure. Put the markers along the driveway. Many of you see this in my lessons and ask, what are all those orange sticks that you put along your driveway? This person has put orange sticks along the sidewalk. We sometimes put orange sticks along our driveways because when it snows, you can't tell what is driveway and what is grass. And people sometimes drive on the grass or on the lawn. So when we know winter is coming before the ground freezes, we often will put out these orange stakes or sticks. Some of them are reflective so that people know where the driveway is so that they don't drive on the lawn. Bring in